morning, well, or afternoon, depending on where you are right now. Today, I thought I'd make an update video. I'm gonna warn you, first thing, this might be an all one continuous shot. Sorry about that, but it takes a while to edit, and I'm not really looking forward to that kind of stuff. But I thought we'd do an update video on this. My recent video has gotten some attention, I would say, and there's been a couple questions on this rig, and I thought I'd just give you a mid to late year update considering it is November. So yeah, this right now currently is in my dorm room and soon shall be in an apartment or at home within the next year, or half a year. So it still exists. A lot has happened since I've had it. I've owned it since the beginning of 2016, and I thought I'd give you an update. Nothing has changed in relativity to the last video, but the last video was taken with a crappy phone, and now this is on my real camera rig, which is nothing great, but it's my DSLR, and it should do a decent job. So, you can hear the Google Home going back there, playing Pandora right now, sorry about that. So, we're going to take a look at the TV. It's a Sony TV, and I'm going to show you what my best settings are to get the best game experience out of this TV. And also, I'm going to show you the rig and basically everything that's been done to it. And obviously, you can probably see, there's been speakers added. So, that's for a specific reason. So I guess let's get started. To start with, we'll start with the main rig itself. Let me get behind the camera. As we can see, still the same TV, Xbox One X, we're still rocking the One X, really enjoying that so far. So, Forza Horizon 4 is the main title that I've been playing right now, great game, that's the Ultimate Edition. We got Planet Earth 2 and Life by David Attenborough, because gotta love those shows and you gotta watch them in 4K. So then we come over to the rig itself, which I can show you. First of all, we have the G920 Logitech wheel and pedal setup. So, if I may, okay, here it is. The G920 wheel, and we got the pedal set down there with the shifter over on the side. Now, a couple things. Forza Horizon 4, a lot of people have been problems with gear grinding noise, and that is because the pedal, the clutch pedal, does not engage 100%. That is because there is not enough shaved off the bottom of the pedal so it can articulate to its full travel. Took a lot of experimenting for that, but what you have to do is you basically have to open it up, grind down the flat part of the pedal until the pedal has more room to articulate to its full potential. That'll fix that problem. 2, other than that, the pedals have been pretty great for me. I'm appreciating them so far. It's no pro pedal setup, but for what this rig is, it does a good job. So the brake does still have the brake mod in it, as some of you may know, and also the gas pedal seems to be pretty standard affair. So the G920 setup has been treating me well for quite a while now. I just took it apart and did a bit of oiling inside, and I washed off the Hall sensor. I didn't wash it, but you kind of know what I'm talking about here. So that's definitely a well-needed exercise, because it was getting off kilter like that every once in a while, and I'll tell you, that's very, very, very annoying. So, yeah, that had to be done. But then the shifter. No, I wish the gates were stiffer in the shifter. They aren't as stiff as the Thrustmaster setup that I had on this, but for the G920 wheel, it's definitely an upgrade from the TMX for sure. It definitely, the build quality is a lot better, the feel's a lot better, it's much more comfortable, and the build quality is sturdier, that's for sure. A lot of people don't like the helical gear set. I think it's an okay gear set, in my honest opinion, so yeah, that's still working pretty good. Same setup as you guys saw last time. So now we'll move on to the rig itself. I did not build this myself. But I got it pre-built, and I guarantee you, anybody who isn't insane will know how to build this. It's PVC, painted black, and it's stuck together. Now, it's glued together very tightly, and it doesn't come apart for transport, obviously, but it's a lot lighter than the typical wood setups you're going to see out there, which is a big deal. So, it's pretty sturdy. It's pretty heavy with the chair and the speakers and everything on it, but it works pretty well. And to support things, we have the wood bench here, the wood table stand here to support the wheel and the front of the sound bar. And back here, there's a couple of cable ties and whatnot to support the seat back here. But other than that, it's mostly PVC setup. So then we come over to the keyboard. Nothing fancy of a keyboard. It's not clicky keys. It's just a cheap light up keyboard from Walmart. At the time, that was all the requirement was it was cheap and it lit up, because you don't use it as much as you would on a normal computer. But for the most part, it works good. And obviously, we can see here. Oh boy, I don't know what's going on. It's on this board here. And this board I built on here just for this purpose, for the keyboard, and that is the soundbar remote there. So that seems to be working pretty good. So next part, obviously we can see the speakers. This is a Vizio soundbar setup on top of another cheap soundbar, actually surround sound setup. So the Vizio set, definitely worth it. As you can see, there's two subs back here. The bottom one is the Vizio sub, and it fires straight into the chair, so you get some rumble in the seat, and it feels like you're in the movie theater. The rumble is very powerful, very audible, very low and loud, and it makes gaming on this thing just more than a pleasure, I must say. The soundbar, I had a 32-inch. This is a 36-inch soundbar. Again, Vizio, very good for the price point, not expensive. But for what it is, I am way more than impressed with it. I'm very satisfied with it. The whole system is a 5.1 system, and I kind of have like a 7.2 system total on this thing. So very happy with what it does, and that there is a little screen that you can program the soundbar with, which is very, very nice. So the next part is the tweeters down here. There's one on this side, and you might think it's kind of pointless, but there's also one down there. You can kind of see it through there. Those offer side sound, and the side sound is actually more important than you think, because whenever I turn these down and off, you definitely notice a difference while gaming and watching movies, that it just doesn't have the capacity to do all those type of things. So, looks like I'm actually going to have to split this into a couple of videos, because we're going to run out of time. So then, these are the last part of the Vizio soundbar setup. There's two on each side. They're like double ears. They kind of came off, off the original setup. And that is the reason the original setup is still on there, is because what happened is the tweeters don't produce all the sounds necessary. They don't include the car sounds. They only produce higher pitch sounds, as tweeters should. And I guess I wasn't expecting that. So I decided, why not? I need all the sound I can get. These speakers and these speakers are hooked up to a Y harness off the Xbox remote. So I am running an SPDIF input combined with an analog input to create full 7.2 surround sound. And eventually, the audio lag is not very great. So that works really well. Y-splitter may not be the best quality, but it works for the most part, and all the surround sound is connected together, since they don't offer package deals unless you buy a home theater setup where you get a soundbar, two tweeters, a subwoofer, and full speakers that produce all the sounds you need. So I really needed that to be a staple, so that's what happened there. This subwoofer, the top one, is the original subwoofer. It's that one from the very first build of this, rig, that I got on the way home from getting it. So it was great for the time being, and these speakers are really amazing for the price and the cheapness they were, but I really didn't know what bass was until I got this VCO one. So it's about the same size, it fits perfectly in there, but I tell ya, it's a world of difference. So each individual sound is controlled individually. The control for this one, since they are computer speakers, is there. This one controls the soundbar and subwoofer, and you can equalize the sound with that. These speakers up on the top here, and I know you're not in focus, are controlled by that remote right down there. It's a little dial that you turn up and down, and they are powered on the back here, and there's a power switch on the bottom here that I have to turn off every night when I'm done. But yeah, pretty much the ultimate mini movie theater experience. Looks pretty good. A lot of people seem to like it, which is really good. And as you can see back there, that's the box to my Xbox One X. And I got the blue remote. I don't use it. I don't ever need to because I have that remote. But I really like the blue, and I just wanted to add it to the collection. So, blue remote, got that. Next, I guess we've pretty much covered the rig. Now, for the most part, this is what the most people care about, as they don't have a big thing like this sitting here. So, the TV and the Xbox. It's an Xbox One X. More than satisfied at this point. This is actually a replacement unit because the last unit was, I did something wrong. But so far, working really well, enjoying the 4K gaming. I actually, like I said in the beginning of the video, just got this TV tuned to my preferences yesterday. I wish I did that a year ago. It is so much better. The input, the frame rate, the colors, it is what it should be. And I wish I would have gotten that experience a long time ago. So definitely try to optimize your TV for the best, best experience possible. But, yep. Standard affair 1X. Really enjoying it so far. Thanks to the person who commented on my first video, the unboxing of all this stuff. You've saved my life, I think. I think I would have went through many Xboxes trying to figure out what's wrong without these books and the stand being separated from the side of the Xbox so it can breathe. At first I had it scrunched right together, and that wasn't a good idea, according to one of the other people that commented on the previous video. So, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate that. As you can see here, just a little gimmick. I got a little, I think it was literally $1 stand from Walmart to put the Forza Horizon 4 Ultimate Edition on. I like to display it. I'm proud of it. I like it. So then down here, little cubby hole. As you can see, this is a cabinet tipped sideways. Nothing special. Someday probably going to have to get something better than this, but it works perfectly for what I'm doing. Planet Earth 2. Love that. Would like to get Blue Planet 2 someday. Life by David Attenborough, and that's a movie I should just give away because I don't really care about it. In here, a couple books. Yep, some books that to shorten the height of this. This is a variable height because it sits on different surfaces, and right now I have it at the height it needs to be for this rig. Sony X800E television. Great TV, love the TV, 43-inch, really couldn't be happier. I know there's better out there, and someday, obviously, I would like to upgrade. You've seen this in many iterations before. The very original, what is on an old VZO 1080p TV that was from a long time ago. Then I moved on to, I've gone through a couple Hisense TVs, Hisense 4K entry-level TVs, some Samsung 6000 series 4K TVs, and now this is not any different than what you saw a year ago. Really like the TV. I'm not sure what else to say about it. You get what you pay for in TV land. It's an X800E. You can definitely look up the specs. It's 4K at 60 hertz. Input latency, don't correct me, but I think it's 33 milliseconds because it is a TV and you have to run HDMI. You can't run DisplayPort, so you're kind of capped at the 18 gigabits per second on transfer. But recently I got the Cinnamon audio, I can't remember what it's called, but it's the Cinnamon version of the Best Buy cable. They have Ocean and Sky and Cinnamon. Because what I have learned from the guys at Best Buy is your Xbox does come with a good cord, but it doesn't reach full tapped potential of what the TV can output in the 4K settings. So I really wanted to get something better and more future-proof, so I think it's 1.25%. Okay, well, to continue, I decided to get the box. It's this one. There we go. Those are the specs of that cable. Really nice cable. Really enjoying that. Brings out the most in the TV. Don't know where to go from here. Basically, a lot of the ports on the Xbox are definitely taken up, but that's supposed to be as it is the wiring for this whole thing is quite atrociously a lot. So, yeah, basic overview. Just a basic update. Now, I guess we will look at what it looks like to be playing and get you set up so we can look at the TV settings. Okay, ooh, that's a little close. Now we are going to look at the settings on the TV so you can get the most out of your Sony TV. Now, this is the X800E, and I know it's a little, dated and whatever, but I've learned something recently that I think everybody should know on their own TV at home because, again, I regret not doing this sooner. So, typical Sony remote. Home. Scroll down, hit settings. Alright, we're over here. Let's take a look. See if I can... What you want to do. We have picture and display. You're going to go to that. You're going to go picture adjustments. And then first thing you're going to do is pick a picture mode. Either standard, vivid, or game, or whatever picture mode you want to do. I'm not going to click on it because I don't want to change it. But first thing is set that, because that's going to dictate all the other settings that you have. Secondly, auto picture mode off. You don't need it to select it for you because I guarantee you can do a better job. Brightness, that's a factor of in the Xbox. I would go to the TV calibration guide in the settings, which we go over. Go down to settings. Click on settings. We're gonna go down to display and sound, video output, and right behind there is calibrate your TV, and you're going to use that calibration guide to set up your TV. So next thing you're going to do is skip all this, because this is just meaningless stuff. You're going to go to the advanced settings. That's where we start to get serious. Now, what you're going to do is after you set your picture mode, you're going to set the brightness and the contrast in the Xbox calibration guide, because that is what's going to give you the best settings for you. The contrast, and definitely pay attention to it, because the little sun and the eye in the picture definitely let you know what better contrast and black level. Black levels is really, really important in the Xbox guide as well. You want to set that up so your blacks are deep, and the Xbox guide will help you do that. But these are the best settings I found. I had the black level at 60 or 70. The contrast was at full and the brightness was at full. That did not work very well at all. I had hazing on the screen. The blacks weren't very deep, and it just wasn't optimized for optimum quality. So per the menu of the Xbox, I did the contrast and brightness. The gamma can be left alone. The black levels can be brought down to a taste you like. Definitely go into the games you like to play and set that up. That will give you the most accurate black level that you want to see, and you're only going to know by experience on your own taste and maybe on the menu. But So then you're going to go to the black adjust, pick the selection you want. Whether you want it high, medium, low, or off. What that's going to do is that's going to adjust the black levels on the TV for certain content you're watching. How much contrast do you want between the colors and the blacks? That's what that's going to do. So that's another very personal preference. Also, we go down to the advanced contrast enhancer. That's up to you. You can kind of see what it's doing. It's going to take the contrast and bump it up levels as you go through this. So I have mine set at low because you don't want everything bumped up to 100%, because the more things the TV has to process, the more time that takes. And it may not be much time, it may not make a difference to you, but if you are one of those who are trying to get the most, let me rephrase that, the least latency out of your TV, all of these type of things should be off. So color, again, up to you. Depends what you want to see in your TV. Adjust it per the Xbox menu and based on the content that's on screen. Hue can be left alone. Color temperature, another personal preference. I would leave it neutral unless you really do like the cool or warm colors. The advanced color temperature is going to adjust RGB groups. So red gain, green, blues, red, green, blue bias. It's going to adjust those specifically. So if you think you have a problem with your TV, definitely look at that. Live color. What that's going to do is basically what it says, improve the vividness of color. Now, how much do you want that on screen versus how much latency and the balance of other things? I have mine left set on medium because I think the TV looks good enough. I don't think everything needs to be on high, and I like the way it looks certainly on that. Clarity. Sharpness, do not go up very far with that. I had mine at like 60 and then 40%. The higher you go up, the fuzzier the image is going to get. You're going to get a lot of aliasing because the TV is 4K and already very sharp. I have mine set at 5. If anything, you should not put any sharpness on it whatsoever. Reality creation, I set to manual and set the resolution to medium. I'm not exactly sure what this does, but I feel this has to do with the XR240 motion rate that this TV advertises, Motion XR240. I definitely want some, smoothness and some reality creation on the TV. I think that's part of the TV, and a lot of you may not like it, but I personally do. Random noise reduction, set to auto. Digital noise reduction, we're going to set to auto, just because that doesn't make much of a difference. Motion, the motion flow. How smooth do you want things to flow on the TV? I have set mine on smooth. The other options are standard and off. The smooth option does require that it will say you may have reduction in image quality, but I find that to be completely negligible and non-existent. The difference between standard and smooth is unbelievable. Everything on the screen is so much more smoother. I get full frames per second. There's no dropping. The image quality is definitely improved, and the refresh rate has a lot to do with that. But the motion flow, set yours on smooth. Don't make the mistake I did. Your games will track so much better in fast-paced, high processing power environments such as first-person shooters when you're looking around the screen, and racing games specifically, as you can see Forza. That is the biggest mistake I made, is not having that on smooth. Do that, life is going to be much better. And I can definitely bump it up. Oh, look at that, because I can set the smoothness. Right now it's on 3. I could take that even up a notch, but I think I'm going to leave it on 3 so we don't overprocess the TV. I would like some reduced latency in controller input to TV. So clearness, not exactly sure what's going on there. Don't exactly know what that is. The Cinemotion, I definitely have set on auto. Again, I think it's part of the X reality creation on the TV advertising. I don't have a problem with it. latency is not terrible, and again, I think it helps the picture in some way. So video options, we're on HDR10. This is an HDR10 TV. Do have that turned on. HDMI video range, we're going to go full. If you have a PC or something like that, you can set it to limited, auto, or full. On the Xbox, it's going to give you an option to set the color range, which is either full or Adobe RGB. If you have in gaming modern, you're going to want to run Adobe RGB. If you have a TV, I would just leave the stock settings alone. Color space, auto. Again, not exactly sure what that's going to do for me. Oh, here we go. sRGB, DCI, Adobe RGB. As you can see, it's actually changing kind of the color of the screen. So here's Adobe, DCI. I'm not exactly sure. I think these are all different color output formats. Oh, sRGB, DGI again. Okay, definitely gonna leave that on auto. Happy with what it does. So, and then the last option is reset, which we don't want to do because I am very happy with the way this is working so far. But we'll pause her. We'll get you set up for the gaming experience next. Show you what it's like. Okay, we're back. This is one angle. If this angle doesn't work, I'll show you a different angle. But here we are. I am going to get in, and we are going to try and get some footage here of what it's kind of like here. So, here we go. Forza Horizon 4, obviously, because why not? It's going to get a little noisy. You may not be able to hear me because of the surround sound, for sure. We'll see what the contrast or the exposure on the camera comes out to look like here. But definitely going to be interesting. So I'm going to turn it down for this first part because it's very loud. Now we just wait for it to open. This is what I do every time. Take the remote once we're in. Turn the sound up. So what you're going to notice here is when I sit in this chair, the steering wheel is just above the horizon line of the TV. And what that does for you is it gives you the dash display right below the steering wheel as I do drive in the wheel view, which may annoy some of you. But every time I open the game up, you have to run through this once, so. And most of the time I game like this. Right now, I can feel the bass on the back of myself. I can hear the surround sound from all around. Absolutely gorgeous, I must tell you. Ultimate experience. I don't know if these lights are going to affect the camera. I'll turn them back on white, but most of the time these lights are set like this and I just game with the colors changing. But for the purpose of this video, we'll just set them back and it's controlled by this. So, alright, so we're going to come in here. I have my GT350R completely stock. We'll drive around a little bit and I'll show you kind of what it's like. I don't know if you'll be interested in this part of the video, but if you aren't, feel free to leave. Happy to not annoy you anymore, but here we are. It's going to be noisy.
Welcome back, Andrew.
And might you know, position of the wheel is going to look different to you than it does to me, but here we go. Force feedback. Alright, so for those of you that want to know, settings. Here's my difficulty settings. Highly skilled, custom, braking, ABS off, steering simulation, traction control off, stability control off, manual with clutch control, driving line off, simulation, and rewind is still on. Those are my game settings, and the wheel settings on the wheel. So if we go here, this is what I have for my wheel settings for those of you that are curious. Now I try to make it as realistic as possible. I don't go for the noob style driving that everybody seems to think they're good, but they're really not. So pretty much set stock all the way down. Clutch axis dead zone is 5 and outside is 90. E-brake axis dead zone inside 10 and 100. Vibration scale set to 70%. Force feedback scale 82. Center spring scale is all the way bumped up to 200. Wheel damper is 39. Force feedback understeer is set to 64. Force feedback minimum force is 40%. Wheel rotation angle is 870 degrees. Those are my settings on the Logitech G920 wheel. Now, note, these settings may cause wheel oscillation if you let go on a hard handling car. That's okay for me because I'm holding onto the wheel all the time, and in the game it translates to what I think very realistic driving style, and I think it teaches you the most on what you need to know about actually controlling a car, not just controlling it with a remote. And when you get into those hard situations, what it's actually like. Now, you can let me know if there's better settings for it. I'm not going to set mine up for any sort of specific settings, like drifting or anything like that, because that's a drift car, and you should really be tuning the drift car to the settings of the wheel so that it drifts well, not cheating and taking the wheel and tuning it to the settings like drifting. Because that's not how it works in real life. If the car doesn't handle the way it handles, it's just not meant for that. So, those are my settings in Forza. That's a little bit of driving now. I'll bring out another one of my cars, and we'll show you from a different angle. So, okay, we're back. Let me get in sound. We'll get her set up. Focus, good. Another little bit, tad bit. We sit in the chair, wheel. We got their foot on the pedals, and the clutch is, the shifter is here. I've set my phone here. It's like a little table here. Here's the sound control. Sound control's down here, and we have the surround sound. So, let's go to my cars. I will bring out a pretty good sounding car that I think I have. Yes. And you see the wheel does some weird things, but that's just part of the game. So, a little bit more. Again, you won't get that exact direct experience because I can't give that to you, but you can kind of see what goes on as I drive. Yeah, I'm just shitting on my wheel. This would be a Charger Valiant, and I put the DSC engine in it and supercharged it. So it's kind of my little moderately built drag car, kind of cool. So. Oh, it doesn't turn. It doesn't turn. Okay. Pretty fun, I must say. And the one other car that the bass resonates so well in this seat with is the Jeep Trailcat, so we'll give that a try. Whew. One more angle. Ooh. Not sure that's gonna work. We'll give her a try. Yes. We'll try. That's another annoying thing. Gotta keep turning the Xbox remote on. Don't know exactly how that looked, but we'll try one more angle before we die here. Alright, well, welcome back. Just thought I'd say thanks for watching. I hope it was fun. It was probably way too long of a video, but here she is. This is the whole rig here. So let me know what you think. Tell me what I can improve on. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I will try to answer. So, yeah, full surround sound system, and I must say, for the Xbox, all-in-one entertainment system. I must say, got YouTube, Spotify. I play movies off SD cards and do a bunch of stuff like that on here. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. And we'll catch you later. Talk to you later.